Hunter Moore from isanyoneup.com. And all your girlfriends.
Me and my friends would just post a bunch of girls, and I was like, yo, I can make money out f***ing people over.
Jesus, that was disturbing. I don't want to do a thorough review of the story. In short, Hunter Moore is a guy that created a revenge porn site. He stole nude pictures of women, hacked into their accounts, stole the pictures, and then posted them online, and then paired their nude pictures with their social media accounts, and then encouraged people to find the women and bully them online. And he wouldn't take them down until eventually the FBI got involved, different hacker sites got involved, just a sort of distorted human. I think that I don't want to go into detail into Hunter Moore because I don't think it's that novel. Like we look at it without question from a psychological standpoint. He's got antisocial personality disorder. He's definitely also a narcissist. To me, it feels really clear. What is interesting to me is how people responded to Hunter. While he was the most hated man on the internet for some, he also had a cult following.
Who's gonna stop me now? Who's gonna tear me down? Remember, this is my day. Who's gonna stop me now?
He encouraged bullying, and people lined up beside him and bullied all of these women that he was victimizing on the internet. So that's what I want to talk about in this video. Really, it's twofold. Why do people like bullies? Why would anybody want to align themselves with somebody like Hunter that they view as being so damaging and dangerous and unhealthy? That's the first thing. And the second thing is, specifically, why were women attracted to him? The documentary talked about women lining up in the green room to sleep with him. Why would they want to be in a relationship with somebody like Hunter? So there's actually a lot of research on bullying. What leads to bullying? How can we intervene and stop bullying? There's all different kinds of theories, but globally, the consensus is that when we experience strain, it puts us at risk for being a bully. And strain can come in different forms. It can be the loss of something positive. A parent dies, you lose something that's valuable to you and it's gone. It can be strain from losing access to something or being thwarted, right? You lose status, or you don't feel like you're capable of getting status, or you're not capable of getting money, right? You're impoverished. Or it can be actual negative stimuli. You're under strain because you're being physically abused or mistreated, right? In all those cases, somebody is experiencing distress, and the psychological response is to then go hurt somebody else. That's the mechanism. So with that as a background, the number one reason why people align with bullies is the concept of vicarious bullying. Vicarious bullying is, well, let me show you. Very good. All right. If I take a bite of chocolate in front of you, you can't help but understand, and sort of psychologically you are empathizing with my experience. That's how we learn. Like as kids, we can't possibly get exposed to all of the things that we might need to know about in the world. And so it's adaptive for us to be able to watch other people experience things, experience positive or negative emotions as a consequence of that, and then learn from that. It's called vicarious learning. This is why, have you seen that kid on YouTube, Ryan's World? He's got like 50 million subscribers. All he does is open up toys from Target and then go play with those toys, and kids just eat it up. It's vicarious play. They're watching him play, and they enjoy it in the same way he does. There's also, you could argue, there's some adult activities out there that benefit from vicarious learning or vicarious play. Anyway, it's the same thing with vicarious bullying. We know what the bully is feeling as he hurts somebody, and we know what it's like for the person to experience that pain. I do think it's important to note that all of Hunter's fans, all these trolls, while they were getting the same kind of psychological relief that he may have gotten from abusing these women, there's probably nuance in how the different trolls experienced that. So this is what I mean. Like, bullying is a sort of one-size-fits-all behavior, but the mechanism behind that, the reason why it works, is very different for different people. For some people, they bully because they are thinking This is how people that I look up to treat me, right? Dad bullies me, so now I'm gonna bully somebody else so that I can be like dad. They're just modeling the negative behavior. For some people, they're abused so much that they feel like they have no sense of power or control. And by becoming a bully, they are all of a sudden the person that's driving the interaction. They have control over what happens to somebody else, and that feels empowering. And so for that reason, they bully. And for some people, it's about creating a downward social comparison. If I attack you and I call you a loser and I destroy your life and I diminish you, then when I compare myself to you, I feel like, oh, I'm doing better than that person, and so I'm okay. So all different reasons why you might engage in bullying or vicarious bullying, none of them very healthy, but it's important to note that there's a difference in why we do what we do. Now, in addition to vicarious bullying, Hunter was popular because he normalized being an outcast. Humans are a very social creature, and throughout your life, you are constantly looking around and comparing yourself and contrasting yourself to other people to try and figure out who is your tribe, what group can you be a part of. And for people that feel like they're outcasts, that feel like they are disenfranchised and no one likes them, it's very appealing to find someone who is also an outcast and who doesn't care. And via social media, Hunter was not only able to model not being concerned about not fitting, he was able to create a community. So I think there are 3 reasons why women might be attracted to somebody like Hunter more. None of them good, but 3 reasons. The first is attention. They wanted to be in the spotlight, and he had the power, he had the network, right? He led the family, and so people that were with him could say, I've been with Hunter more, and it was like, it's like being with the rock star. So that's a piece of it. I think another piece of it is there's really good research pointing to the fact that women like the bad boy, and there's in the short term. So researchers would say that being a bad boy, especially one like Hunter Moore, who is such a risk taker, models an excess of resources. So let me say it this way. If you walk around and pick fights with people, eventually you will be beaten up. So you better not pick fights with people unless you are a strong guy. If you walk around throwing money at problems, you will eventually run out of all your money unless you have a tremendous amount of money and resources. If you break rules, you will eventually get in trouble unless you are above the law. From a pure reproductive standpoint, the fastest way for a woman to assess the sort of biological value of somebody is by looking for those kind of markers. And someone that walks around like they are impervious to rules, like they can't be beaten up, that's attractive. The last reason I think is the most likely and the most significant, which is trauma, in particular sexual trauma. People respond to trauma differently, and I can tell you, working as a coach and as a therapist, it's really important to figure out how somebody has understood their trauma and then help them think about how they're responding to it. And people respond in really different ways. So for some people, if they were sexually abused, the reaction is to avoid sex entirely, right? It becomes something that they don't want to even think about. And for other people, they go the exact opposite direction. I had this horrible event or series of events, and I don't want to make that my entire understanding of sex. So what I'm going to do is be exceptionally promiscuous so that what happened in my childhood isn't really that big of the pie when I think about my sexual exposure. For other people, being abused, there's a complete lack of control. This was done to you and you had nothing to do with it. If you pursue someone like Hunter, you're taking control, you're taking ownership of that interaction, and that feels empowering. And for some, having been abused, they feel disgusting, they feel ashamed, there's self-hate and doubt and all kinds of negative emotions that come with that. And being mistreated again, right? We reenact our traumas. Oftentimes we sort of feel like this is what I deserve, so I'm gonna go duplicate that with the most awful person I can find. And for many, that's Hunter Moore. And lastly, for some people that have experienced trauma, they feel so ugly and ashamed of themselves that they're just looking for any kind of positive male attention. And even if it comes from someone like Hunter, getting him to choose them is a big accomplishment and feels really good. So none of those are good reasons. I'm trying to think of a positive way to wrap this up, and I can't. It's a terrible story. You have a horrible person that does horrible things on the internet, and then people that are psychologically unwell follow him. It's sad. And the worst part is Hunter Moore is out of prison, and he is now thinking that he is free, wants to be back on social media. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Will he be back on social media? And do you think he will create another website like he did before?